Hello everybody, Dustin with Blast Away the Game Review. Today we're going to take part 2 of my Warframe mod guide for beginners. As you can see, it is called Warframe mod guide 2, as this one will be covering transmute, fusion, and selling of mods. We will also be covering, as a bonus, mod conflict for sentinels and weapons. So to begin with, we are going to fuse, rather we're going to transmute, I should say, correct myself, one reflex guard. This requires 4 mods. So let's go ahead and click on the single reflex guard. Now one thing we are going to do is go ahead and use some duplicates as well as fusion cores today. So we're going to use my extra pistol pestilence. As you can see, I have 3 of those, which means I'm running quite a few towers 4s and getting the toxin mods that are rare. Now we will go ahead and use 1 arrow mutation. Again, these are not all that uncommon for me. I get them quite a bit out of towers. Here though, we will be careful because I do have some mods that I can't get again. So we'll do 1 enemy, since now that I have my 4 fusion core, or not fusion cores, my 4 mods to transmute, it's going to cost me 36,000, plus it will highlight all 4 of the mods I'm going to use. Because I'm after a rare mod, I'm using rare mods to heighten my chances. I'm not sure if that's how that works, but let's just say it does for the sake of saying so. Here I now have a common mod, which, you know, kind of a downer, but hey, you know, it'll get used again eventually. So now let's do another confusion, or not confusion, another transmute. We will go to, what do we want to use? Let's use heavy impact to start with. So we'll select the 1 heavy impact. I will go ahead and use both of my Master Thieves and 1 Metal Auger. Here it's highlighting again what mods I'm using, and it's confirming that it's going to cost me 36,000. Again, we get a common mod. As you can see, common mods do happen. It's not a big deal, especially if you're used to you doing a transmute and getting mods. Now one thing we will do is we will go ahead and take a peek at a Naramon transmute core, which increases my chance to get an Naramon. Actually, it ensures, as you can see, Naramon is the little dash. So now let's go over here to what mods do we want to use? We'll go ahead and use 3 intensifies. Again, I don't need it. As you can see, I have it. So we're going to use 1 Naramon transmutation core with the 3, and I do get an Naramon mod, which is heavy impact, which that's not a bad mod, especially for those of you using melee. Heavy impact is going to ensure you're doing quite a bit of damage. Now one thing we used to be able to do, as you can see, we have a rank 1 fusion core. As you can see now, unlike before, we cannot fuse fusion cores to increase their effectiveness. Again, as you can see, I can't do that. So what we will go ahead and take a peek at is, again, as you can see, I went ahead and showed you it's not going to let you fuse fusion cores, and it even says on the fusion box that it does not allow fusion core fusion. So instead, let's go over here, see what mods. Let's go ahead and we are going to fuse a arrow mutation mod to increase its effectiveness, which ensures that all drop-ups will be arrows, or at least most. Now one thing you can see is I used my fusion core. It was not worth as much as, say, a single rank 3 fusion core, which the rank 3 is giving me just as much rank up in comparison to the rank 1. This is because the rank 3 has more fusion capacity. As you can see here, the uncommon is worth quite a bit more. It gives us a rank and a quarter, a little over a quarter actually, towards the next rank, which is rank 2 out of 5. Now we will also go take a look at what the rare 5 fusion core will do. And these are actually more effective because of the rarity, but also the amount of value they have. As you can see, I got almost a rank and 3/4 off a rare 5 fusion core. That, again, this is because of the rarity, but also its mod capacity for for the fusion. Now, as you saw, fusion cores, based on their rarity as well as their rank, are worth quite a bit more, and this is because those are actually what we will be using. as well as dependent upon if we're going to be doing a rank 5 rare, a rank 5 uncommon, or a rank 3 common. Now, one thing we could do, as you can see here, is we do have a Kubro neutralized mod, which I'm not going to be using at this time. Instead, I will be going with Reflex Guard, which adds parry, but we're not actually going to use it. Instead, as you can see, I'm going to sell this mod for credits because I have a lot of it, which makes a great alternative for mods, especially if you have a back catalog of them that you're not going to use and you need some credits for in-game. As you can see, I went from 457,112 to 400,058 and 112, meaning it gave me my 1,000 credits on the spot. Now, one thing we can do, as you can see, uncommons are worth half of what a rare is, so I will get 500 credits for a unranked ammo stock, which is a rank, an uncommon unranked mod. As you can see here, I can go to Sundering Strike, and again, because it is a mod that is now max ranked, I will get 2,400 instead of the 1,000. This is because the mods that have been put into it, or the fusion cores, because that is an older mod. I don't know which I had. So we'll take a look at, let's say, Blood Rush. Actually, instead of using a max Blood Rush, we will go ahead and use an unranked Blood Rush for the sake of this video, and we are going to fuse it again. As you can see, I will be using 21 of my rare 5 mods, 33 of my uncommon rank 5, all 18 of my common, and my 1 common rank 1. This will put my Blood Rush at rank 7, and it will cost me roughly 149,400. I could increase this cost by adding more, which in this case we'll be doing. As you can see though, we cannot organize mods based on how many we have, which is unfortunate because I would like to have my duplicates showing how many I have. Now, for the sake of this, we will go ahead and use some duplicates. As you can see, they are not as effective as fusion cores, but they are equally usable, so we will go ahead and keep using duplicates for now. So that you are able to see the exact cost, we are actually going to go ahead and remove the camera image for now, and we will continue to insert more mods. So as you can see, I've added quite a few mods here. We're going to probably go with roughly around 100 mods total, and we're going to continue adding until we actually get as high as we can with my Blood Rush. As you can see here, it's going to confirm that I want to spend 181,200 for roughly 100 mods. For the sake of this video, we're going to click yes, which now increases the effectiveness of my mod, which means Blood Rush is now equally as effective and produces a higher critical chance when doing combos with my weapons. So here we will go over to Arsenal. We will select Arsenal. We will go ahead and take a peek at Marlock, which, as you can see, Blood Rush is not something I can use with a primary or a secondary. It is a melee only mod, meaning that only melee weapons can equip this. So because I am at max mod capacity, I cannot use it to replace my old Blood Rush, which is unfortunate, but we can actually open up with a new weapon. So we will go to another one that can use it just as effectively. In this case, we will go with Legion, which came out with the Sands of Inaros update. Here, as you can see, I have selected my default colors I use on all my Warframes. We will go to here. We will move Jagged Edge or Fury, because even though this weapon does get a passive increase to attack speed or status chance, I believe it's attack speed, we will go ahead and remove, let's just remove Heavy Trauma instead and add Blood Rush, especially because this weapon is already very effective at a critical chance. We will go ahead and up this even more based on combos, since I will be using it as my primary weapon versus my Soma Prime. So as you can see here, I do have quite a few mods already that I could add in, especially say Body Count, which we will replace Fury with, because the weapon already has a decently high attack speed. Now, I discussed how, in the last video, how Sentinels have their own mods. As you can see, Carrier has his own, which is called Striker. This is his ability to attack the first enemy that comes within range. His specialized ability is called Vacuum, which allows him to basically collect anything that's on the ground. Mods, resources, credits, you name it, he gets it for you. Or it, whichever you prefer. To me, it's a he because I made mine look like a parrot, so we'll play it pretend. Now, as I said, each of these Sentinels have their own abilities. So we'll take a look at Helios. Helios is literally a codexer. He will help you codex. As you can see, he has, again, his own ability called Targeting Receptor, which allows him to attack an enemy that comes nearby. The unique thing with him is he's a melee one if you equip his specialized weapon. As you can see, he also will scan and codex enemies and items within the area, but it requires you to have your own codex scanner charges, so make sure you have plenty of those, especially in your equipment, since he will fly through those pretty quickly. So again, we will take a look at Death Cube. As you can see, he has his own attack mod, of course, but we will skip down to his ability, which allows any enemies nearby to get hit with a high dose of his damage, meaning damage is extremely important with this guy. Again, they will not be using Warframe mods, they use their own. Now, one thing that is newer to the game, especially for beginners, you're not going to get Kubrows right off the back, but we are going to take a peek at what makes Kubrows unique. So we will go ahead and equip, say, Loyal Companion. Now, let's go with a different one. Now we'll do Loyal Companion, but we're not going to max it out. Instead, we're actually going to max out his... We're going to try to max out Maul. Maul is his base attack because they do have their own attack mods. Will require him to level up. Because we used all my fusion cores, again, we are going to use duplicates this time around. So in this instance, we're going to use all 10 Gemini Cross. As you can tell, because they are uncommon, they gave me a decent boost to the mod rank capacity, which is increasing my capacity cost quite a bit as I go. So let's go ahead and take a second and insert more duplicates here. As you can see, I used that rank 5 pistol gambit because I had it equipped. It gave me a warning that this mod is currently equipped and will be removed if used. So we won't use it. Instead, we will use other mods that are not equipped. And we will continue using all of my extra mods. As you can see, I'm continuing to use mods that are uncommon and commons to ensure my fusion goes effectively. So let's keep going through here. We'll go ahead and use a couple of rares, so we're going to actually use 2 of those rare unranked mods. And we'll ensure that we don't use mods that I can't get again through events and whatnot. As you can see, I used a few Reaping Spirals. For those of you that need it, you can easily find it on the mission Venara, which is based out of the planet Venus, if you have it unlocked. If not, that's where you get it. Now, one thing we'll do is we will actually go ahead and take a peek at mod confliction here in just a moment. So here we're going to take a peek at my Kubrow. We're going to do this for the sake of finding mods that can, for example, be ranked up. So we'll select retrieve. Now, one thing we will do is, as you can see here, when we went through Arsenal, we were given a chance to take a peek at what mods we had installed when we selected that option. Unfortunately, because we did not go through Arsenal, we don't have that option. So I will have to go to the Kubrow mods themselves to rank it up. As you can see, I'm given a list of what Kubrow mods I have that are ranked and unranked and can be fusioned or transmuted or sold. But for the sake of this being a beginner's guide, we're actually going to do this through the Arsenal. So let's go over here to Arsenal. We will select Talon. Now that you take a peek at Talon, Talon has her own mod capacity, which every item does in the game. That's our way of having the RPG aspect. Now, because I do want to rank up a mod, you can see I don't have retrieve selected in here. It's because I do not have it equipped, it will not be there. So let's put a unranked retrieve on Talon. We are going to actually increase it. She will bring items to her master, which in turn is my Tenno. Here we will go to fusion. Again, we are going to use duplicates since we used all those fusion cores earlier for this video. We will select all these melee prowess. We will go ahead and use Sundering Weave since I've already got that equipped on my weapon. We'll use Diamond Skin, Hawkeye, and Warrior. Now let's go ahead and we are going to dig for a mod that I have a lot of, because it's going to require us quite a few more to rank up. So we'll use Compulsion, which pushes it up to rank 4 out of 5. As you can see, I can use already ranked up mods, which we aren't going to do at this time. So here we will find another mod eventually that I want to use. So let's take a minute and look. Now that I'm in the right area for a high level mod, we're going to use redirection, which I have 92 of. As you can see, I'm going to use 49 of them because, again, this is an unranked mod, so it does not have this high ranking as needed to provide a proper level up for the ranking. Now, because Retrieve did not have an effectiveness to it or a mod cost, now it costs 5 mod capacities. As you can see in the corner, it is indicated that I have used several mod capacity. I've used 5 out of the 6 I had available, which now causes my Kubro to bring me items effectively. I will go off screen for a second so you can take a peek at the full screen, and we will cut out to my... Now, one thing we will do is we're going to take a peek at Helios's ability Investigator. This is his unique trait that allows him to use your equipped codex scanners to automatically codex items for you, meaning you will not have to actually fill your codex yourself. He will accompany and complete this on his own. As you can see, I did not mean to go in emotes, so let's go here to gear. As you can see, I have 17 codex scanners. This means he will use all 17 of those if given the opportunity, if enemies do not die quick enough for him to scan. This means if you're trying to codex, you might want to take it slow, unequip his weapon, and let him do his own thing. But because I do use Carrier, he is my go-to, we will take a peek at his mods. As you can see, they have their own mods, which will only be exclusive to Sentinels and not the player's character, which is your Warframe or your Tenno, depending on which way you want to look at it. They are 2 in 1. So, as you can see, I do have mods that are unranked on my Carrier. That is because he does not have the mod capacity, which means I will be doing a fusion on him in the near future, which will not be in this tutorial. I will be doing that with an Orokin reactor one, which will actually probably be our next tutorial for you guys before we start getting into movement 2.0, damage 2.0, which damage 2.0 may actually be in the same one with fusion and reactors. As you can see here, I will be going and selecting my Carrier Sentinel, which is my preferred Sentinel due to his effectiveness while in combat and missions, meaning I will not be using my ability to run around and pick up items. Now, his default weapon is called the Sweeper. As you can see, the Sweeper, like before in the past video, I did note, will be using mods that you would normally use on your own equipment. This is because those mods are effective for both you and your Sentinel, and you will have mod confliction, which we are actually going to use Stinger for this, which is normally on the Jinn Sentinel, but I prefer this weapon due to its elemental basis. As you can see, I've boosted it using Malignant Force and Wildfire. as well as infect clip, which we will not be covering in this video. As I said, we will be covering damage 2.0 at a later date, which will probably be tomorrow or this weekend. Now, as you can see, because I do have a serration on my Soma Prime, I cannot insert my already used serration into my Sentinel. That is because Sentinel weapons and your weapons require their own mods to have due to this conflict. Now we will go ahead and select a new weapon. So for this we will use Supra. We will go ahead and try and equip the serration that my Sentinel has equipped now. As you can see here, I'm getting an error saying my Stinger has it already equipped, meaning I cannot use it on my Sentinel and my Supra at the same time. So we will go over here to my Strut and Wraith. We will go to Stinger. We will remove the Stinger's already inserted serration. We will insert the new serration, or rather I will, into my Stinger, but we will go ahead and use configuration B, as this is not the configuration that my Sentinel will use by default, since A is my default. We will go ahead and back out. Now what we will do is we will go to Soma Prime, which is by default my go-to weapon. This is because Soma Prime is equally just one of my favorites. Now one thing we will have an issue with is when I used to back out, say my weapon or my Sentinel, we used to get something called a conflict. This is because normally your Sentinel's weapon and your Warframe's weapon are not supposed to be able to equip the same mods onto it. Now as you can see, I equipped a Malignant Force to ensure that I would not have this happen again. And as you can tell, it's not running into an error. That could be a bug, which we will be posting on the bug forum to inform them about. Now we will go ahead and remove that serration, put on the serration that was originally on Stinger, which is this one. But let's take a peek at a second. See back here now that I'm going to go ahead and try to use the one that's on Soma. And as you see, I get the error that it's already equipped. So we'll go back to my Stinger's default. We will go back out. As you can see, my carrier is back to normal. I do want to thank all of you for tuning in to part 2 of the beginner's guides for Warframe, as we have been covering quite a bit. We will have a new video up probably tomorrow or Friday. I do hope you all stay tuned, as we will be covering quite a bit of this, especially for all you new players who are just getting into this title, which can be a bit confusing to get started. Again, I am Dustin with Blasted Wit, the Game Review. Thank you for tuning in, and this is Warframe on PlayStation 4.